Once upon a time, in a land far away, there lived an aspiring poet who spent long days and longer hours trying to write the perfect poem. He dreamed of when he'd finally produce that beautiful masterpiece, the masterpiece that would at last make his name renowned among all of the land. This poet, however, was continuously disillusioned by his own work. He racked his brain night and day trying to understand what it was his poetry was lacking. Something is missing, he thought, but what? One night, when his desperation was causing him to swear he'd never hold a pen again, a very wise old man appeared at his door. This man said to him, "Young man, do not give up, for the solution to your problem is an easy one." He went on to tell him about figurative language and how it gives effect by saying something other than what is literally meant. The young poet couldn't believe it. So many figures of speech for him to choose from, like metaphors, similes, and hyperboles. The young man begged to know more, so the wise man complied. He said, "Figurative language is just one of many literary devices, which are techniques used to produce special effects in writing." "Please do tell me more," requested the very intrigued poet. The old man gave him a patient smile and said, "Now, I'll enlighten you on 3 more, but the rest will come to you if your passion proves true to the art of poetry." Though the poet felt a nervous pressure at hearing this, he accepted the wise man's offer, figuring he needed all he could get. So he listened as the old man talked about the beauty of imagery and how it brings poetry to life by appealing to the reader's physical senses. Then, he suddenly changed the emotion in his voice from a cheerful one to a gloomy one. The young poet asked why he was now all of a sudden feeling so blue. "That, young man, is because I changed my tone," which shows the attitude a writer may have toward a particular subject and toward the audience. The aspiring poet was overwhelmed with excitement and listened intently to the last literary device he had been promised. "We've reached my personal favorite. There is one way and there is another. And there is no better way of demonstrating this other than juxtaposition, the fact of 2 things being seen or placed close together with contrasting effect." Before the young poet could say anything, the old man disappeared before his very eyes. Just a fortnight after, the young poet recited his very first finished piece, Venus and Adonis, to a small crowd by his dwelling. The news of the poet's artistry spread far and wide throughout the land until one day everyone knew his name, young Shakespeare. Today in class we will take a look at some of these literary devices used by great writers like Shakespeare. We'll be using Freyer model organizers to identify definitions of literary devices along with characteristics, examples, and images pertaining to them.